Hello, God bless you. Who is a biblical husband? And what does God ask of a biblical husband? A biblical husband aspires to be everything the Bible calls of him to be. Yes, a biblical husband also understand and seek to submit to all that God's word called him to be and to do as a husband. A biblical husband never makes his wife life bitter. Colossians chapter 3 verse 19 says, "Husbands, love your wives and never treat them harshly." The word love is in present tense, meaning unceasing and also ongoing action. It's an ongoing action. A biblical husband always loves and is never harsh. A biblical husband provides for his family. First Timothy chapter 5 verse 8 says, "But if anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially for members of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever." So those husbands who played video games at home while their wives work 2 jobs per day, they are not biblical husband. A biblical husband works hard to provide for his family. A biblical husband treats his wife with respect. First Peter chapter 3 verse 7 tells us that if I don't tells First Peter chapter 3 verse 7 tells that if husband don't respect their wife, God won't hear their prayers. If husband don't respect their wife, God won't hear their prayer. If husband don't respect their wife, God won't hear their prayer. So every husband in the same way must be considerate as live with their wives, as we live with their wives, and treat them with respect so that nothing will hinder their prayers. A biblical husband respect his wife. A biblical husband takes initiative when the Bible tells men to love their wives like Christ loved the church. So it's calling them to an initiating reaching out love. A biblical husband and a biblical husband is an initiating husband. A biblical husband is an initiating husband. A biblical husband speaks life to his wife. Proverbs chapter 18 verse 21 warns husband that warns us the tongue has the power of life and death. So we husbands are therefore called to choose every word, every single one carefully. So I tell you, on the day of judgment, people will give account for every careless word that speak. For by your words you will be justified, and by your word you will be condemned. Matthew chapter 12 verse 36 to 37 says this includes words when we are tired, when we are angry, when we are frustrated, and when we are hurt or disappointed. So the Bible moves us to make every word breathe life into our wives and marriages. A biblical husband uses his tongue to nurture and never to hurt. Yes, the question now is, you that is watching me, every husband that is watching me out there, are you a biblical husband? Yes. Are you a biblical husband? Yes. Every marriage can be better if only husbands are biblical husbands. If only husbands are biblical husbands. If only husbands choose to love their wives as Christ loved the church and give himself up for the church. Go for it. We don't have forever. We only have one life to live, and that one life is enough if we live it well. Yes, I remain Reverend Mrs. Esther Sunday Etuk. Follow me on my next video every Sunday. God bless you.